Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 pieces of horseback riding equipment that you may consider buying. If you are getting back into horseback riding lessons after a long break, these are my 3 top recommendations, so let's get right into it. Riding equipment, riding gear, the very most important piece of riding equipment that when you're getting ready to invest in some of your own personal equipment that you will want to consider is a riding helmet. If you are taking lessons with any instructor at any farm, academy, an individual riding instructor, they are going to require you to have a riding helmet when you ride. They probably have helmets that they can lend to you when you're coming for your first lesson for an evaluation. So they will have an assortment of riding helmets for you to try on. But as you go along in riding and you want to continue in taking lessons and you're pretty sure you want to spend the next year or more improving yourself as a rider, it's definitely a good idea to invest in your own helmet for hygiene reasons and just to be able to get the style and the model and the colors that you like. So this is my helmet. It's a Kask, but there are many other brands. There's Troxels, there's Tipperary's, there's many other manufacturers of helmets. And these helmets range from about $50 up to $700 or more. So what makes these difference in this price? The higher priced ones tend to be those that are imported. Those are being produced in Europe and Italy and other countries. And they sometimes will have a higher craftsmanship or have adornments, materials, colors, piping, that's fancier basically and probably costs more to produce. But the number one thing that you want to look for, the most important designation on any riding helmet, whether it's $45 or it's $1,000, is the designation ASTM/SEI. What does that stand for? The ASTM is the American Society for Testing and Materials, and it's one of the world's most renowned organizations for testing, safety testing and other types of testing of everything from cured concrete to food items, and they test riding helmets. And the /SEI, the SEI stands for Safety Equipment Institute, and it's a subsidiary of ASTM, but it gives an additional certification for equestrian helmets. So these initials tell you that your helmet has been tested. It's been tested for force, it's been tested for shock, for dissipating shock around the helmet. It's been tested for the strap. It's been tested for retention, that if you come off of a horse in an unplanned dismount, the helmet is going to stay on your head. You will see riders out there riding their own horses without a helmet. Some of it is a cultural or a type of riding thing. You'll see riders out west in cowboy hats riding. But when you're taking lessons, and my recommendation is no matter what you're doing in your riding, if you are only riding your horse from a paddock to an arena and then you're getting off, I recommend a helmet. We know there's a big discussion in the world today of traumatic brain injury. It doesn't take much. Sometimes just how you hit your head. It doesn't take a lot of force sometimes, and the results can be tragic. So we never want to even have to deal with that. A helmet will not protect you from every injury, but it will give you a lot of protection from head injuries, and you just want to have it for security reasons. So you can get your own helmet, and I will link below some manufacturers that I think are really good ones. You can try to get into a store, possibly a Dover Saddlery or Horsetown or other tack store, and get some retail sales assistance for sizing and getting the proper helmet size. But you can also buy online. They'll have size charts, and you can browse online and see all of the different varieties of styles that are out there. So this is number one recommendation: get a helmet when you are getting ready to invest in your riding gear. The second item, riding equipment, gear, that you may want to invest some money in or make sure that you have when you're riding is a good pair of boots. These are really old. These are my Paddock boots. These are Ariats, and that is one of the manufacturers that makes a lot of riding apparel and riding boots. But as you can see, these are just laced boots. They do have a definite heel here, and they do have some gripping here, but they're pretty smooth and not very thick here. They're rounded, so they're very comfortable, but they will slide into stirrups and fit in stirrups very easily. So these are excellent riding boots, but you could probably have a pair of casual boots at home that you can wear for your first lessons. You don't have to invest in a specialized riding boot. This type of boot, Paddock boot, mine is laced, but they have slip-ons and they actually can double as great casual wear too. And you may have a casual wear pair of boots at home. The most important thing is you want a closed toe. And if you can get it, you definitely would rather have a heel here instead of a completely flat surface, so that this will keep your foot in the stirrup, especially when you're first starting riding and starting to learn where your foot needs to be, where it needs to be positioned in the stirrup to keep it from sliding through. You're going to be working on leg position and foot position, and those are some of the first things that you will start getting a feel for when you're riding a horse. So these heels are important if you have a boot like that. And these, as you can see, these, you don't need to go out and invest in the tall English riding boot, especially if maybe you're going to take different type of lessons, possibly Western style or some other type of lesson besides English. But you don't need a tall boot. You can definitely use these over the ankle boots when you're doing your first lessons, even if you have a casual pair of boots at home. Just make sure they're closed-toed. You never want to work around horses, whether it's cleaning stalls, leading horses in and out of a barn, leading horses around in a lesson for a child. You don't want to work around horses, grooming them or doing anything with them with your toes exposed. It's not fun to have a 900 to 1,200 pound animal step on your foot if it has no protection. I unfortunately have experienced that, and it can be pretty bad, so you never want to put yourself in that vulnerable position. So these are great. These are Ariats, but there are many other manufacturers, and I'll link a couple below for riding boots if you want to invest in your own pair. So before I get into my last recommendation on riding gear, let me introduce myself. My name is Marilyn Lombardi, and this is A Life with Horses. If you like this video, please consider subscribing below, hit notifications so you don't miss any videos, and thank you so much for your support. So last, you may want to buy a pair of riding tights or riding breeches. Of course, you can go to your first lessons in jeans, but jeans are a little unforgiving, especially if they're not stretch material. They can be a little gripping, and they can also ride up where your feet are in the stirrups. So you may want to get riding tights that fit you down to your ankle. They're just like tights, they just cut off at the ankle. They're very stretchy, they're very comfortable for riding. A lot of times they have a grip on the seat area and on the inside of the leg, so that helps you a little bit with your position in the saddle. So you may be wanting to look for a pair of riding tights or breeches, which are a little bit more substantial than tights. And of course, you can always use a pair of leggings to get started, whatever you have at home for your first lessons. But I will link below some manufacturers that will have the products that you're looking for that are excellent manufacturers of riding apparel, and that will be a big help for you. So thank you so much for being here today. Have a great time in your horseback riding lessons, and if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, or any topics that you'd like me to cover. I'm happy to get into it, any subject that will help you out. Thanks, and have a great day.